Well, it's Saturday the 7th of May. This is episode 2218 of 301 Permanently Moved Online, a personal podcast 301 seconds in length, written, recorded and edited by me, at the JMO. The word metaverse becoming a buzzword over the last year has exposed how vapid and incurious some parts of the media is. The new thing is always the hot thing, and the new hot thing can't possibly be the old thing. Some of the most frustrating headlines are: the Metaverse's first runway show is here. Metaverse Fashion Week described as the first event of its kind. Faceless to create the first fashion show in the Metaverse. All are factually incorrect. The first documented virtual fashion show in the quote-unquote Metaverse took place in the virtual chat world Minds Palace, launched by Electric Minds and Zender Studio in 1991. The longer that I work alongside teams building Metaverse-related things, the more I ask myself, what did they do in the 90s? How did it work? How did it fail? As a result, I've been reading loads of old books about the metaverse, reading about MUDs and esoteric shared mainframe environments from the 1970s. Since the pandemic kicked off, I've spent many hours playing the 1995 metaverse game Active Worlds. So much so that I have a chapter in a new book published this week, Lost Zone: Hiking the Dawn of the Metaverse. Here's the book's blurb. For a decade, from the mid-1990s, Active Worlds was the most popular user-created virtual environment on the internet, an online zone full of precedent and potential. Coming from a background in architecture, editors Belosi and Raphael led an expedition through the remains of Active World's principal territory, Alpha World. 4 avatars were enlisted to walk the 655 digital kilometers that separate Alpha World's northern and southern limits. Lost Zone draws a line through the ruins of our recent digital past to gain insights into our hybrid present. My chapter is about 90s online world building as a luxury good, the American frontier, junk space, and the aesthetics of American sprawl. If that sounds like your thing, the book is published by Via Industry Publishing and distributed by Idea Books, link in the show notes. One of the more egregious media trends are the articles treating marriage in the metaverse as like some sort of new or novelty subject. Bruce Daimler's 1997 book, Avatars: Exploring and Building Virtual Worlds, tells the story of the first metaverse wedding. Not the first online wedding, but the first to take place in a 3-dimensional virtual world on the internet. 26 years ago, tomorrow, May the 8th, 1996, Thomas Landhaus, then 27, and Janka Stanhope, 31, were married inside a pavilion specifically constructed for the occasion by users of Active Worlds. The couple first met in the game Spawn Point, got chatting, and then met in real life and fell in love. I do wonder if they're still together. It'd make a fantastic documentary. The wedding itself was an elaborate affair. Besides the building of the pavilion, music was arranged and piped in via MIDI. Custom avatars were made for the bride, groom, and best man. In the game, many coordinated actions by participants were required to make it a success, including wayfinding guides to take people to the pavilion, crowd control measures to keep the event from degenerating into unstructured chaos, photojournalism to capture the event for coverage by the many web-based community newspapers. And I'll include a photo of the wedding from Daimler's 1996 ACM Interactions conference paper in the show notes. After the wedding, Thomas, the groom, drove 3,100 miles from San Antonio, Texas to Tacoma, Washington to kiss the bride. But it wasn't the first online wedding. Oh no, the very first was in 1876. Yes, I'll repeat, 1876. Back when online meant on the telegraph line. The story is recounted in full in Tom Standage's excellent book, The Victorian Internet, with information sourced from the 1891 edition of the Telegraph Journal Western Electrician. 146 years ago, the telegraph operator William Story was posted to Camp Grant military base in Arizona. In April of 1876, he applied for leave to travel to San Diego to marry his fiancée Clara Choate. His request was denied. Crestfallen, Story hit upon an idea. Why can we not be married by telegraph? Contracts executed over telegraph lines were binding, after all. So he did. Choate travelled 650 miles by wagon to remote Camp Grant, and a minister in San Diego agreed to perform the ceremony via telegraph. The couple's plan caught the attention of the man in charge of the government telegraph lines. He loved the idea. He issued the following order to all line operators. You are hereby informed that the wires of this division after 8 p.m. April the 24th will be used for the purpose of conducting a marriage ceremony by telegraph between San Diego and Camp Grant, and you and your friends are specially invited to be present on the occasion, to assist if necessary, and to see that good order is maintained. The ceremony took place in real time. Well, the 40 words per minute the telegraph permitted. The Reverend spoke slowly at one end, his words dotted and dashed, then read aloud again at the other. When it was time to say I do, both Story and Choate tapped the telegraph key and signed the transmission with their names. The whole story is just delightful. Anyways, the point is there's nothing new under the sun. Neither, in 2022, is there anything truly new online.